Hi, you. I am sporting hair thanks to a subscriber comment, to mix Amrita with the shivambu. And what do you think? I actually blow dried it with my mom's old blow dryer. It's an old Vidal Sassoon, very old, barely puts out any air. And so I did a little bit of heat on it, but wow, it feels thicker. Hey, in my video today, I want to talk a little bit about homelessness and that let's delete that. I want to go 20,000 years back in time and talk to you. I know that doesn't make sense. Let me get this going. Okay, so now you know that we're sporting Amrita Shivambu hair. I'm on day 53, I think, Amrita, and day 5,311 shivambu. Means I drink pretty much. I do not flush the toilet anymore, you guys, except to poop. I know it's getting a little personal there, but I save it all in jars. I know I've already said that for those of you that subscribe. The one thing you'll be able to know, for those of you who study liars and detecting lies, you can go back in my videos and you can always hear me telling the same story, right? Because it's a true story. It's my story, right? It's God's story. You're in it. We're all in it. We're all actors in this story. I say it like I've got conviction. I do. Anyway, I want to tell you that we left information for ourselves written in stone years and years ago, that because we knew that our species could forget, that we recycle our own essence, that we drink from our own cistern, that we live and live, eat, and breathe like that. There have been times when we did, and I can say, people might say, you're not an Egyptologist. How would you know? Well, that's where the education system kind of takes a back seat, in my humble judgment, because they don't leave the doors open for us to say, what do you think? What did you come up with when you studied hieroglyphs for 6 years and looked over and over at different hieroglyphs? Okay, well, what I want to just present to you, and I keep looking over here because I'm looking at my journal. When I was showing you this yesterday, showing how I journal like this, right? Okay, and you can see other days too, where now some days I'll write quite a bit, and other days it'll just be days gone by. I just do day whatever Amrita, day whatever shivambu. Okay, let's go back 20,000 years. It's really hard to do if you don't understand the timelessness of shivambu. It's not hard, okay? Let's not make it difficult with words, Care. Come on. We want to leave for our grandkids and our great-grandkids and our great-great-grandkids a way to understand that if they were to recycle the living water, they would live eternally, or they would live more fully and more evolved, happy, content. You have your own words for serenity, right? Blissfulness, bliss. Okay, so let's just say that we were living in a civilization where we all were doing that. We'd been doing it all our lives. Our moms raised us, washing us like Mary washed Jesus. And there's a story in the Hidden Scriptures about Mary and his bowl when he was a baby, and she takes cloths and she gives them to the people in the village, and they use this cloth and heal. They're healed from the cloth. Well, Jesus peed in the water, and she gave them a pack, right? A urine pack. Okay. Yeah. So, where was I? Okay. So we're back. Say 20,000. I'm using years when really trying to talk in terms of time is irrelevant. And that's the one thing we're attached to in this existence, is the passing of time. And it doesn't really serve us in the long run. But let's say, okay, so we're going to want to tell people in our future about it. Okay? And we write down as best we can with pictures, right? And we okay, people think that the pyramids are carved in stone. Here's what I think. Okay, we wake up in the morning 20,000 years ago, and our habit is once a month, say, we fix clay and cover a stone wall with it. Say we have a dimensional piece. Say it's 6 by 6. Let's just say 6 by 6 that we do, and we know it because our mom and our grandmas and our grandpas and our great-great-grandpas taught us how to do this. You lay this down, and then you can etch in it. And then that clay that's laid over becomes part of the stone, and it doesn't crack and brittle. It becomes one, because you're making that clay with the magical essence, the shivambu, right? And it makes it into something that becomes one with the rock. I don't know. This is all what I've gotten from journaling for day after day after day, and looking at it and going, who's going to be able to read that in 100 years? And how are they going to know what Amrita is, what Shivambu is, why I'm doing it? So yeah, and then you write, you write, okay, we'll write a paragraph or two about it. How long are they going to be able to read that kind of language? You see? So we think, well, we better carve it in stone, and we'll do it with stick men, or we'll do it in a way that's 2D, so they can learn in their 3 or 4D how to fly, or how to live without ego, how to live without attachment to time. Okay? Yeah, there's only one way to live forever, and I think that's if we get rid of the clocks. I know we're pretty attached to those guys. We've got our phones now. We can get time in a heartbeat, or our moment in time that we think is important to capture. It might be. I don't know. I'm getting off track. Sorry, you guys. Sometimes it takes me a while to spit out my point, and I have to be okay with that. It's my own trust in the story and in the process and in your place in it. when you're watching this and who you are. You know, I don't get to know who you are when you're doing it. It isn't important to me that I become famous or whatever. In fact, you know, the couple of times I've been on TV, be it Tosh.0 or TLC, My Strange Addiction, I wish they really would do a decent update. I was thinking this morning how disappointed I was, thinking back on the time I spent with the crew on TLC and trying to negotiate with them, like, you know, you're wanting to film stuff I don't do. You really want a documentary? We can do the whole documentary in the bathroom. Everything that's important happens in there. But, you know, we did some in there, and that was good, right? But I was a little, anyway, you know what? I had to sign a contract that I wouldn't say anything about that. I don't know. I appreciate that you're watching me. You know, maybe you're here because of Tosh.0. Maybe you're here because of TLC. Maybe you're here because just you love me. Right? Something. Anyway. What do you guys think about that idea? I have looked. I don't like sentences that start with I. You know, redundant looking at something for year after year can probably cause mental disorder. Pyramids is one thing I'm very interested in because I don't get what Egyptologists are saying. And so I looked more and I watched more and not watch more. I don't necessarily watch documentaries where they say what they know it says. Come on. Okay, maybe if you guys were drinking from your own cistern and, you know, drinking from the cup that Jesus drinks, then I would understand what you're saying about Egypt. But I don't get it. It's like Greek to me. It's like, well, what I get is there's these wonderful, it's a wonderful way to live. We're all strong. There's nothing like sickness or illness or aging. And we have no concept of that because we're programmed into, you know, the seduction of illness, death, and disease. Illness, disease, and then death, right? Yeah, because everybody dies. Okay, whatever. I'm not going on that boat. I would love to talk to you about the problems going on in the world, about homelessness, about diseases, about the disease of addiction, you know, about the soft white underbelly, you know, the real. I termed what Mark Leta in the soft white underbelly, his definition is maybe a little different than mine because his definition of the soft white underbelly would be, I'm guessing this, okay, that it's just beautiful people of all kinds, any kind, any make, any model, any career. That's all of us, right? We're all part of that. And I've been using soft white underbelly as a definition of the homelessness kind of problem we got, or challenge we have going on in the world, in America today. Invisible people is another way to define that group of people. I found one yesterday. Her name's Ruth. In fact, someone, and I believe it was Ruth, slept on our concrete in front of our apartment building. And Right? Like, yeah. So I met her yesterday in front of the library, and I went and got her. I just asked her, what would you get? What do you need? What can I get you? You know? She said, I get my food stamps tomorrow. I said, well, I get mine. I have some. I'll go get you something, okay? I have some left over for you. and so she wanted some Spam. I said, okay, I'll get the rip-off kind, right? Like an envelope that's easy to open. Yeah. She had the biggest, most beautiful white, blue. Her whites were so pure white, and her blue was just sparkling. No teeth. Oh, and her name is Ruth. I told her I can remember that, right? So I'm not telling you this. This is kind of, you don't talk about your karma yoga, right? I went and got her $10 worth of, I got her Pepsi. She wanted a Pepsi. She wanted some Spam. I got her a couple of packets that she could eat and a water, so she'd have a new bottle to go fill up at the library, right? And I went back and gave it to her, and I said, so really, what, is there anything else? She's like, oh yeah, I really want a cigarette. And I'm like, I bet you do. I said, would you smoke those little $2 cigar ones? She's like, I would. So I went and got her a pack of those. $2.30, right? Okay. See, that's really dangerous for me, because I want to take her home, right? I think we feel that way about homeless people. No, that's not true. Other people are, call the cops, get them off the street. There's a shelter for that, and blah, blah. Oh, excuse me. I'll trip my own PTSD, right? Yeah, I've run up against some stuff the last month I really never, ever, ever imagined on my path. And it's heartfelt stuff. It's deep. It's like so deep. In fact, it's so deep, it's the beginning of my YouTube and before that, you guys. And has to do with homelessness and how I wish that we all drink our pee. He says, ask and ye shall receive. And all I get is, I feel compassion for God. Every day I just get more compassion for the Lord. Because people are out there worshiping idols, and they make their own perfect substance. Oh my gosh, excuse me. It's not wrong to feel emotions, guys. We can do this. And cry too. It's okay, right? If they give you free food that's in a jar, save the jar and put your pee in there. And if you don't want to carry around a jar full of pee, either drink it or rub it into your skin, or go dump it very discreetly in the creek. I know. If we got caught doing that creek stuff, do you think they'd bust us? Throw us in jail? I think so. What the hell is up with that? Because if we dumped our pee in the creek, it would solve our drought, our Lake Mead, our Lake Powell, our Colorado River problem. Yeah, I have a little PTSD, you guys. I do. And people have said, let's talk about your PTSD, and it's not very pretty, because I get I get not ugly, but yeah, maybe ugly. My heart math gets kind of ugly. Oh man, I love the human race. I'm compassionate that we're not as smart as we are genetically set up to be. And I just have compassion for God. I'm like, wow, there's it's okay. The insects get it and the animals get it, except the domesticated ones, but that's all right. You know, we beat their butts for peeing. I bet you people have even beat the animal's butt for licking and drinking their own pee when they were, trying to keep themselves clean. Wow, I'm getting way off track here, you guys. What is my track anyway? I wanted to talk to you guys a whole lot because we'll just combine homelessness and the pyramids. My two new topics. Okay, so write down. I invite you to, I'm not telling you what to do, right? I invite you to write down and journal in a notebook somewhere, day 1, shivambu, and the date. The date, day 1, shivambu. Okay. If you're, say you've been drinking it, you've been doing shivambu for 5 years. Google 5 years, how many days in 5 years, so you get a rough estimate. Doesn't matter. But count your days and write, and only write that, and you'll, after 6 months, and maybe read a little scripture too, of some kind, any faith. If you're reading it online that has nothing to do with God, you're reading atheist faith. That's okay too. That's a faith. So I just invite you, because we have tried, it's tough to get through to us. We're a little ignorant, and it's okay, right? I love you. It's okay to say it, Everybody needs to hear that they're loved every day, every day. So grab somebody and tell them that you love them. And look them in the eyes, dead in the eyes, and say, I love you. Not like that. I did it wrong. Say, I love you. And if you don't mean it, that's all right. It's going to open something in us, right? It's going to help us be more open to love. Remember to get something like glass. I wouldn't save pee in plastic. I mean, if you have to, you have to. I'm just not sure. It's so strong it could eat the inside, and you don't want plastic particles. Glass, pottery, not metal either, because urine does turn into a rather strong cleaning product over time. Thank you for listening. It's amazing you're still watching and listening, and that's awesome to me. You're awesome to me. Hope it's not getting too hot out there for you. I love you. I'll talk to you soon.